Jay here for Scotty and Motty. Apologies for the delay, but it was well worth the wait because not only have we got my good friend Scotty with me.
How you doing?
You all right?
I'm buzzing, man.
I love that. Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. We've also got the legend that is Andy Tate with us. Andy, how are you doing?
Yeah, nice quick cup of tea, nice break, and I'm back for the second round.
Is that all you had in the break? A cup of tea?
Nah, the Mackies as well.
What did you go for, Andy?
Oh, I went for the new chicken, crispy chicken nuggets, and some cup of tea and some sauce. Barbecue.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Hey.
Yeah.
Did it taste better because everything's rosy at the minute? Because
It didn't taste bitter at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Pot noodles taste divine this week.
Yeah. Today you could eat a pot noodle and it would taste like bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I think you might have even tweeted this, Scott. Is it all right? I think, what did you tweet this morning? Was it something about, is it all right still talking about the derby or something? Or I'm going to keep talking about the derby.
Yeah. I said I'll stop rinsing this derby as soon as the next one comes around.
All right, that's okay. We've got another few months of it yet, then, haven't we?
Got about 6 months, I imagine. Why not? They do.
It might be a bit 6 or 7 months if it's a late October or November game. So yeah.
What did you think when you did you watch the game? What was
I had the kids on a Saturday, so I was trying to watch it around screaming kids. But I made sure that they're all United fans anyway, so I watched it with them. But yeah, buzzing, mate, like it's fucking screaming the house down.
What about you, Andy? Where did you watch it?
Row 36, back of the Stretford end.
Oh yes.
What a climb that was. Batman utility hook, pulling yourself up to the very top row. Sciatica in my ankle because I've got damaged ligaments, and it was worth the pain.
Yeah.
And my back was KB'd, but it was worth it.
In terms of derbies, then, Jay, where do you put that?
It's up there.
It's up there.
Right up there.
In modern Man United history.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's been a couple, hasn't there? Like there was the one. There's one that he had where Rashford and Martial scored. That was pretty good because everyone thought we were going to get beat.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought it. Do you know what I mean? Even me, to be honest with you. So that was such a shock, and the way we did it as well. Obviously, when I was a kid, there was the 5-0 when Chelsea got his hat-trick. There was the one at he had, was it the 3-2 with Van Persie's late?
Yeah.
Got free kick. So there's been a few, but I think that's up there because
in terms of the context of what United are trying to do,
what we're trying to do, and the way the game went.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To go behind to a team that's the reigning champions, and we all know what City are capable of, and then to not, to come back. And also, I like the fact we came back in a controversial way. I love that. I'd rather do that than just comfortably win.
Yeah.
Because it's just amazing, like coming out of the ground or whatever, or checking your phone and just seeing the absolute meltdown that everyone's having. And now there's all this sort of talk about referees and Stuart Atwell's trending, and offsides, and all these different clips and all these different like experts coming out. And I was just like, yeah, we've got the 3 points, we've got to win, just suck it up.
Pretty much it.
Andy, what did you make of it? Well, you was because go on, you can tell us a little bit about it if you don't mind me asking. About it, it's quite emotional for you, wasn't it? Because
sort of got me. I mean, at the end, I had to drink this in. You know what I mean? That was the commentator slogan: is drink it in, enjoy the moment. And I had about my mum's passed away about 5 years ago, so I wore my mum's scarf.
Yeah.
What the night she passed, so I took it with me. And I was filling up, and I just had tears in my eyes. I had to have 10 minutes to myself. Let the ground empty, I had the moment in me, and some United fans were patting me on the head. You okay, Andy? So I had to say, yeah, I'm just thinking of my mum, she's not here anymore. You're allowed to cry.
Oh,
of course you are.
Personally, family reasons.
Yeah, of course.
Then I composed myself, and my dad was phoning me up, trying to get through to me on the tram, and it was pandemonium, couldn't even get on the tram. He was like... It was like the Walking Dead on the tram. I squeezed myself onto the tram and made it back to the studio way. My dad was bouncing. He couldn't make it Saturday because he's down with a cold. But he was chuffed to bits. Even my brother was there as well. So it's quite an emotional family day, and they love giving it out, but they just can't take it
at all.
Cannot take it at all.
Some like proper angry people out there, and like everyone was saying, oh, you know what? If United had a goal conceded in that controversial way, you'd all be kicking off, and you think, yeah, we would, but we didn't, so we're not.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have had the outpouring if it was against United as much as...
No, it seems like everyone's just sort of got
I love it. It has all been coming to this point all season because you've just seen all the talking heads downplaying how good Ten Hag was, how good the likes of Martinez was, how good Eriksen was a signing, Casemiro. So all season, every single person who wasn't a United fan in media has been anti-United in a way that they haven't previously, because we have, they've been punching down because, during the Moyes years and so on and so forth. But now because they can see that we've got some sort of trajectory and momentum, and we just beat the fucking champions convincingly in my eyes. Rashford's banging in, was it 9 in 9 now? And and it's just So if you look at where we are now, they're just trying to pull us back down. It reminds me so much of the 90s. Remember that run that what season was it? 96 when Cantona was just scoring. We scored like 1 goal per game, didn't it? And that's what reminds me of this. That's what this Rashford run sort of feels like.
No, it does. You're right.
The 96 run where we were just digging out 1-0, beat Newcastle. His goal against Tottenham as well. One against Arsenal. The volley.
We were behind in the season. We were behind Arsenal a lot that season, though, weren't we?
But I think so.
Newcastle. Newcastle.
There was I remember the game against Liverpool where he came back, and also the final, the FA Cup final. It wasn't just the league, was it? He carried it on again, 1-0.
Yeah.
Cantona. Do you know what I mean? It was just we kept getting
saying 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to Cantona.
And that's what Rashford feels like a lot like that sort of, and leading the charge as well. Because sorry to butt in, but do you think that Rashford last season carries on playing? Because it looked like he was going to come off. Do you know what I mean? But he just seems to have that much more hunger. And he said it in a match before, an interview before the match, that there's more sort of desire within the team now that wasn't there previously, and that motivation. And I think last season he doesn't get back up because he looked like he really hurt himself, didn't he? I thought that was it then.
I don't know. I know what you're seeing it like because they've said it themselves. I'm always wary like hunger and desire and things like that. I think confidence went last season for him. To lose your place to Anthony Elanga at one point, which is what happened, must have hurt him. Because this is a player that, obviously Marcus Rashford was an established Manchester United player, been there for 7 years, and then you've got this kid coming through, and you basically, at one point, you're not getting in the team because of him.
There's a lot of off-field issues as well, but everything's been sorted now.
But you're right about his him keep going, because I think Marcus, he's done that a few times. There was a game against Wolves when he had a back injury. Games the Scousers, remember when he was hobbling? He made all the subs.
I remember.
And I'm always a bit wary when players do that because sometimes it can be counterproductive. But we needed him for that game because I think Martial looked a little bit like he was out of sorts. Don't know if he was carrying a knock or whatever. He looked a bit.
I think we all thought Rashford was going to come off for the second half.
See, that's what I mean. Warming up. I thought
we all thought that.
But he came out, and it's funny because just before he scored, we got the equaliser. Everyone was going mad, and the lad next to me goes, "We'll win this." He said, "Rashford's not got his goal yet." Because he's just like you say, he just keeps scoring, doesn't it? And like a minute later he did. And it makes laugh as well because at 1-1, there's 12 minutes left on the clock plus added time. It could have been anyone's. Yeah, we were a team that looked like we were up for it, and they just didn't. No. So obviously they rallied a bit when we got the winner, but it was weird because you always associate with City team, I do anyway. They'll fight, they'll keep going, they keep digging out results, don't they, when you sort of count them out. But they just seemed to go in at themselves, and it was like Garnacho in particular just had the better of them. Do you know what I mean? It was great in the atmosphere, especially at the final whistle. You mentioned in there being emotional, and you're not alone. I've seen lads just going berserk. I sort of mate with me, and he was just like everyone, the CRA and the Stretford, and it was great to see. And we missed a bit of that, do you know what I mean? Because we've had some good results, had some good atmospheres, but that was something else. A few people have said in the comments, King Dino, the derby was close to the one just before lockdown. I almost forgot about that was good, wasn't it?
Same sort of feeling.
Jake Campbell says McTominay with the banger. Tim Collins says it's cool to cry. I mean, listen, do you know what I mean? More power to you. Solo in the chat. You're on there later on, aren't you?
Yeah, Mr. Solo. I'll be clocking in at 8:10. Don't worry about that, mate.
What is he doing? So anyone who doesn't know, you're going to the United Agenda, doing a bit of presenting, aren't you? Like hosting?
I'm going to do the hosting tonight, and we're going to be talking about the controversy, the fallout, the shithousery. It's beautiful, isn't it? And are we going to do a title charge?
Oh, really? You're going there? You're going early? Well, is it going early, though? Because we're a point behind City now. There you whisper that. Title challenges, charges, whatever. People have to.
Well, if Manchester United aren't classed as title challengers, then that, for me, means that you're writing off Man City. Because I just think our 11, evidently, on what we had on Saturday, shows that if we've got our strongest 11 week in, week out, then we can go toe-to-toe with another challenger. By that logic, we should be in the race. Yeah. If you look at, I think I looked at Arsenal's running in April. I think they play Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool in the space of 4 weeks. So there's a lot of points that could be dropped there. Arsenal got to play City twice. If we win that game on Sunday, I think it's wide open.
Mate.
I did the watch along with Joe and Joe for the Charlton game. Charlton,
Commander.
Yeah.
Wow. It's about time we played on Charlton Green.
Them ones.
Could do next year. We're shot on pitches, mate.
I've actually lost the plot I have this weekend. I'm not going to lie to Scotty. I'm sorry, bro. Go on. Yeah.
You never had the plot. But, yeah. So I was saying to them, he's saying, how many points do you reckon United will get out of Palace, City and I said 4 points. And I stand by that.
How many?
All of them.
Oh, 4.
I reckon we'll get 4 points. I would say week in, week out, I'm a cynic. I think your Manchester United can win the league this year.
See, that worries me, because you are a cynic.
I really
You're not deluded, and you're not, like, overly optimistic. You're quite sort of grounded.
If this
when you start saying things like, it worries me.
If this Weghorst guy can do what Andy Martial's not doing, that's another sort of avenue for United scoring goals, because I think that's somewhere where we should be worrying. Because everywhere else around the pitch, I think in our strongest 11 are as good as anyone else in the Premier League. I
think Glenn F says, I'm with you, Scotty. He agrees.
Good man, Glenn F.
Talk MU. Solo says, for me... Oh, no, sorry, not Solo. Talk MU says, for me, I feel the tide is turning. Ten Hag, potentially new owners. Now we have an identity as a team and a system we are still learning. It's paying dividends. Excuse the pun. Lol. Mr. Tate.
Nice.
You go one way or the other, you sometimes. Sometimes you are like him, a bit cynical. And other times you get everyone going with your predictions. So which one is it this time round? Because no matter what you say, I can guarantee you one thing, it'll be clips up.
I've got vibes of 1993, man. It's 30 years to the anniversary since we won the Premier League.
Don't do that to me.
83. Man United always win something when the year has a free in it. 83 cup final, that was my first time watching United. 1993, 2003. 2013, losing Ferguson, and basically my mum getting admitted to hospital on the same day, so that sticks with me. On the same day when she was diagnosed with dementia. So I'm thinking we're going to do something this year. I can't say what we're going to do, but we're going to end up with a trophy or two.
Yeah.
Elite shithouse of it. Let the world burn while we rule it. I don't care anymore.
Do you know what though? Like, you talk about shit house and all that, and I know it's a controversial decision. I don't think this team is like that dirty or does the dark arts as much as others. Do you know what I mean? I think, to be honest with you, I think that like the goal that's sort of controversial, it was one of them where we tried it and it works.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not, if the referee gives it, nice one.
That goal gives week in, week out. Them sort of decisions are given week in, week out in other games all around. Yeah. It's just because it happened to Manchester United as to why it's blew up on a different level. You mentioned it earlier.
It does feel like, doesn't it? It does feel like if there's anything at the minute, anything that goes on, like everyone wants to jump.
Nobody wants Manchester United except for Man United fans. There's no neutrals, I don't think, that want Man United to win.
Do you know what it is?
Even the scouts
nobody wants Manchester United.
If you look at it, right, even Newcastle, who are owned by the Saudis, and who are doing a lot of the dark arts, watching any of their games, the time waste and all the other stuff, even they seem to be a lot more popular amongst like pundits and stuff than United. Arsenal people sort of getting behind because it's like this narrative. Arteta has done this, on a shoestring. He's only spent 300 million or whatever.
But the Yeezys, them shoestrings.
Yeah. But there's this thing no one expected him to. He's done really well. He's a surprise. But it's a bit surprising that sort of people get behind City, because you think that people be like, well, FFP went out the window and you lot come in. You've had just bought Haaland.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you should be walking this league with Pep Guardiola as well. Yeah, people seem to be more sort of fond of them than United, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, it's good that we can be the dark horse. I've seen a meme today. WWE wrestling, lights go dark, 2 wrestlers in, and who walks in? The Undertaker. Oh yes.
You love your good meme, you love a good wrestling one, don't you?
Yeah. Or Stone Cold Steve Austin at the end like that.
I mean,
drink a beer or two, like that, give the V's out. We've just won the league.
Andy, you was mentioning that. We all get it. We're all excited. We've got Palace next, so it's not easy that one, is it?
No. Because every game is different. Never underestimate your opponents. And say they could turn up. Patrick Vieira, ex-gunner. Oh, I'm going to do my team a favour. So we've had some really, good memories of Sellers Park. I remember, was it last minute when we won 3-2, wasn't it, a couple of years ago? Was 2-0 down. Matic, over the years, Sellers Park, Cantona and all that as well. That's going back about that best part of 25
That's
years.
one of my favourite memories of anything.
Yeah. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think, like you say, just play the game. Your next opponent, he's already got a dossier on him anyway, Ten Hag.
Yeah, I mean, they spoke well after the derby. I think I've seen an interview with Fernandes and Rashford, and both of them were saying we can't get carried away, we're not focusing on the title charge. Palace is next, you know what I mean? And I think that sort of stems from Ten Hag. Because if you look after Arsenal beat Spurs, the way they were celebrating after the game, it looked like they won the league.
They do that all the time, Arsenal.
Do you know what I mean? And
early, don't they?
Yeah. So I like that sort of thing, that groundedness seems to be within the team. And I heard another statistic today, I don't know if you've heard this one. Last year, in all competitions, so collectively, Manchester United won 20 games.
I'm amazed it was that many.
Right. And Ten Hag's won more already with the derby. So Ten Hag's won 21.
Yeah, and Ralph Ragnick last year.
No, not than Ralph Ragnick. Then United over the whole duration in every competition only won 20 games, and Ten Hag's beat that already. And we're halfway through January.
It is
the man's a god.
It is mad that, like, because I honestly thought this season, and listen, it may still pan out that way, that we'd be in a fight to get top 4. And I remember saying we feasibly could finish 6th again. And it not even be that bad, because now that sounds ridiculous. I'll explain it. Because you looked at it, you go, okay, City, they're going to be in the top 4. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
I thought the Scousers would get their act together. I'm a bit sort of, amazed and impressed and chuffed.
And celebrated.
Yeah, the way that they've imploded. But you expect them to be in the top 4 conversation.
Yeah,
I thought Chelsea would, just because it's Chelsea and they'll throw loads of money, and Todd Burley seems to be playing Championship manager, so I thought they're going to be in it. Spurs with Conte having a full pre-season. Getting back to a little bit, although I think if you scratch beneath the surface, he's probably not brought the players in that were that great. But going early in the transfer market, I thought they'll be in the conversation. And Arsenal as well, you thought, okay, so it's going to be tough just to get into the top 4. Now listen, and Newcastle with the money, I thought Newcastle might not be in the conversation yet though. But, it's not easy to get into that top 4. Now don't get me wrong, we're not there yet. But so what we've done so far, especially when you look at the fact we just wasted the first 2 games.
Yeah, how different.
Gave everyone a 2-game start. Then it's pretty impressive, because I remember going in that Liverpool game, and I always felt like Ten Hag was the right man for the job. You saw what he's done at Ajax, the way he carried himself, the pre-season, you can see what he's trying to do. But you did worry, because you thought, we've been beaten at home to Brighton.
Yeah.
We've been battered off Brentford. If we get beaten comfortably at home to Liverpool, people are going to be looking at him going...
The pressure would have been on. Yeah,
and especially with our owners, trigger happy. I know they're leaving, but still... You thought it could have been like, when we go, we got this one wrong, and
the atmosphere. It was after the Brentford game. I think that was breaking point for everybody, because they panicked within the club. Fans wanted blood. Players didn't want to know. And Ten Hag. I think it was a hot weekend, wasn't it? It was a boiling summer day on a weekend, and he brought them in on the Sunday. We were all moaning. And they're all crying because they can't have their Sunday day off. So I remember my podcast I did that at the end. I don't give a flying fuck, mate. You're working on a Sunday. I work Sundays sometimes. Yeah. But Ten Hag ran with him in 30-degree heat, and he sort of it shook him up.
And I think it won them on their side as well, because obviously if you're going to see the manager's going to live by the same principles he's asking you to, and I think that's very important. I don't think Solskjaer was doing a lot of that. No. There was rumours that he wasn't actually on the pitch, on the training field quite a lot.
Okay.
But if you look at Ten Hag's, I don't think he's afraid to make a gamble. But if it doesn't pay off, if you look at the Brighton and the Brentford games, I think he needed to give some of the players in the previous seasons a chance. He learns from his mistakes. Now, if you look at how he rolled the dice against City in the first game, and it was a little bit more open, contrast that with how he's playing at home on Saturday. And if you look at Fred, just completely stifling.
I forgot to ask you about it.
No, because I've not heard much anyone singing Fred. And if you if you want to join the Fred Appreciation Society, memberships are now open.
I think my dad's got to be in there with you, because my dad, right, he's so harsh and he's critical, and yet he adores Fred. Like, absolutely adores him.
But you can see the evidence when he's got a better manager behind him that he's playing a hell of a lot better. He did to Kevin De Bruyne what Herrera did to Hazard.
Let's not forget as well, though, with Fred, he's done it a few times against City. He's had a few storms. Remember that? I remember when I did the fan cams at the Etihad, my fan cam was literally titled an apology to Fred, because I'd criticised him, and that game, I thought he was man of the match.
Yeah.
That game I was talking about earlier, where Rashford and Martial scored, he was dominant in that midfield. Do you know what I mean? He was fantastic, and then we've seen it against other teams as well. But no, it's not easy to come into a game like that and do what he did, and he did it very, very well as well. Do you know what I mean? He was everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah. The best thing about that on Saturday as well, every player played a part. Even the subs coming off with a few minutes to go, just see the game out, lock it down. Maguire coming on, McTominay coming on. Rashford is going off as well. It was good. It's good to see everybody getting it, playing that part now. Even though you're not going to be a first teamer, you're playing a part.
Did you have Aaron Wan-Bissaka being the new George Best on your bingo card?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I saw that bit of skill. I was like, wow,
what's going on?
Just
here?
took out 3 City players like that.
Dancing through him. But you mentioned it earlier. Ten Hag getting the confidence in players. Do you know what I mean? Like, these aren't. The thing is, if you play for Manchester United, you're not a bad footballer. You might be a bit out of your depth at times, or you might lose form, or you might lose confidence, but you've got something in you.
Yeah.
And he's getting it out of everyone. If you'd have said to me earlier on, like, Luke Shaw's going to be centre-back against City, I'd have been panicking. Yeah, he was dominant. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Luke Shaw's got on a free full 6 days.
Even Malacia, who come in as a €14 million signing, and you think, okay, he might be good as a backup or whatever, but, to throw him in against City, and for 70 minutes, whatever. He did his job.
You couldn't see that Luke Shaw after that Brentford game.
Getting back into the...
Getting to where we are at this moment in time after that Brentford game. You couldn't see it.
It's weird, but like you said, Scott, I think it was right to give the likes of Shaw and Maguire and players like that. You have to give them a chance.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have to, but it made sense to. Just rather than just dropping them straight away. To go, okay, starting the Premier League, off we go. The Brighton game was a bit weird because we could have maybe got some out of it. It wasn't a disaster.
Yeah, we should have got something out of it.
You can look at it and go, okay, the performance-wise wasn't great, but it weren't horrible. So you go into Brentford, you think, okay, I don't need to change everything. And in Brentford, it's just like 4-0 at half-time.
Yeah.
What the f is going on? But then the Liverpool game, it's like watching a completely different team right from the kickoff. And I think you're right, you mentioned there about the City away. And it's not, I think it's probably the only time I could say this about Ten Hag, being a bit naive in that game.
We hadn't played in a month though, had we?
No, and I think I could understand his thinking because Eriksen was playing really well, Bruno was playing really well, and McTominay had been playing really well. So I think that was the midfield he went for, and he's just got sort of part in it. And obviously, we weren't out. No one likes to make excuses, but Varane gets that injury. He goes off for the corner. They score. He comes back on. He's not fit. Alan gets the wrong side of it. But it's like that obviously cost us as well. But yeah, to see from that the 6-3, which was a fucking flattering 6-3.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, to what we saw on Saturday.
That's what I mean.
When
he makes mistakes, he's willing to learn from him. He doesn't sort of brush them under the carpet. He sort of analyses and says, right, well, this is what I've done wrong. This is the team, and that's why he went out and played like they did on Saturday. When you look at these players that are performing well now, it just goes to show that bad managers can make good players look crap, whereas good managers can make good players look great. Yeah, and that's the difference.
That's a really good point. Because I think that's what we're seeing, and it's like. You're at the stage now, me with all these players, and I don't write any of them off because I thought Wan-Bissaka was done. And
so did I.
Yeah, I thought he's going to go in. I think there was talk of him going back to Palace for like a £30 million loss.
Yeah, or on loan at least. Even Wolves were looking at him the other week.
Now I'm thinking, he's
not going anywhere.
Keep him. You're not going to get a better one for certainly not in the January transfer window. Look at Rashford, and I'm not saying I wrote him off because I've always liked Marcus Rashford, but even I'm surprised that the levels he's got.
Look, so even I was like, he was flirting with PSG, wasn't he? And his brother's
just didn't look happy, did he, last season?
Didn't look happy, so even I was like, people criticised me, you wanted him gone 6 months ago, quite rightly too, I wanted him gone come the start of July. I wasn't interested, but he's knuckled down, fair play to the lad.
This is what I mean, and it's like, you just don't want to write anyone off. What do you make of this, with all that in mind, the Weghorst signing? Because I didn't expect that one, to be honest with you, but we've got him. Ten Hag obviously, wanted him, and he was talking about him after the game, I think, and saying, he's someone he's been scouting for a long time. Is it one of those where you go, right, if he wants him, I'm all right with that? How
can you not trust the manager after all the evidence you've had over the last sort of 8 months?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
That's all. In Ten Hag we trust is all I'm saying.
He's done it with an Ajax lad, didn't he? Turned into the leading Champions League goal scorer.
He signed the lad from Southampton. Was it?
Dusan Tadic.
Yeah. And then he was playing. I don't think anyone expected him to go over to Holland and do it. So I've got complete faith in that Ten Hag knows what he's doing. Had that been a signing made under Solskjaer, like we said it the other day, Igalo 2.0, I would have thought. Well, the question why he's coming, but everything there seems to be a reason.
Yeah, and also some of us like the signing of Igalo. It looks a bit. If you looked at the circumstances around it, I think that morning we were going for Josh King.
Yeah.
Newcastle lad, wasn't it? Had a Bournemouth lad, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and in the afternoon, or in the evening, it's a gala. It didn't seem like there was a method there.
No.
It just seemed like, who can we get? I know his agent, at 11:30 or whatever, we're getting a deal over line just to get a body in. Whereas this, obviously, there was talk of maybe going for Felix, but you think that got priced out of it. But then he obviously knows Weghorst, and I know that people go, well, look at him at Burnley, but I don't think you can just judge him on that. I think you have to look at what he's done elsewhere.
Well, he offers something different as well, and it's exactly what United need, because I think we're all right coming off the flanks and scoring goals, obviously with the likes of Rashford, but we haven't got anyone that scores like ugly goals, like tap-ins anywhere around the 6-yard box.
Finesse the right
yeah,
side.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we need, and I think we've got the players in there to get the crosses in and the assists, but we just need someone to sort of tap them on the end. For me, I just feel for Martial, because if anyone didn't come off the pitch, full of glory on Saturday, I think he went missing a lot during the game.
Yeah. What did you make of his performance, do you think? Because he seems to divide opinion. It was weird because a lot of people were giving him stick where I was stood, and then beginning the second half, people saying, actually, we seem to have lost something here now. Like, what did you make of it?
Yeah, well, Martial, his decision mate, I would say he was injured Tuesday, he didn't play against Charlton.
Before the game, I think when the presser on the Friday, Ten Hag said
he had to have a fitness test on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's shown. And then people saying, well, actually, it's not just about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but some of his some of his decision making and just 1 or 2 niggles. He had a good chance to shoot when he didn't, and he played the pass back as well, and it was just like, he's like, even I was saying, is his mind right? Is it his attitude coming back or something like that again? The Martial last season, So I didn't expect him to go off, because obviously when Rashford pulled up, we were all thinking Rashford. We saw Anthony coming on, warming up at half time, and it was like, wow. When Martial, we were flat for about 15 minutes. With no Martial, you're like, and City started to come on, and then when they got the goal, it's sort of like, if anything, it galvanised United. I mean, the only downside on Saturday for me was De Gea's passing. He was kicking it. Where are you kicking it to, mate? He was giving it right back to City, but that only happened about 2-3 occasions. Rest of the game, he was brilliant.
Ranabe Mitra makes a good point. The women's team smashed Liverpool with 6 goals. They should get a cash bonus, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Beating Liverpool 6-0.
If Carlsberg did weekends, man, you get
that was the icing on the cake, that one, wasn't it? Solo in the chat says, Scotty, I'm with you. I love Fred. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. I know that. Yeah.
Santa Knott says David Pritt is the president of the Fred Appreciation Site. I don't know. You have to say that.
Whoa,
I think there may be you may have to have a bit of an impeachment there because Scotty's claimed that title.
Wait for the name badges.
Just before we wrap up, Andy, big game against Crystal Palace. I mentioned it earlier. You feeling confident? If I had to get you for a prediction, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for another 2-0 win and a clean sheet. You just, if you want to go crazy, by all means, go for it. But I'll just take another 2-0, keep it nice and tight, and just grind it out. Yeah. Then we go on to the Emirates on Saturday. And even if we got a draw, we're still doing well. We're still in it. We're only maybe 7 points behind them. So watch that the Undertaker and the darkness is coming. When you hear the Undertaker music at the end of the season, you can play it.
Scotty, you said that you expect us to win. You said you expect maximum points from City.
Yeah, I do.
And Arsenal, what do you reckon the score's going to be? How do you reckon that game's going to go on Wednesday?
I never like going to Sellers Park on a midweek midweek game. I always think it's a difficult place to go to. I think it'll probably a 1-0 United, and I take that. I think Weghorst might start. I think he'll definitely make an appearance at some point. I think if Martial is still carrying an injury, his form doesn't suggest that he should get the place up front.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Garnacho start down the left.
Martial's got a thing for the Emirates, so you never know. He might be just like, get fit, and he's done it at the Emirates before, Martial.
Yeah, one game at a time, Andy. One game at a time.
As you said yourself, Andy, you're going to be on the United agenda in about an hour.
Yeah.
Presenting. Is that your first presenting gig?
Yeah, your first presenting gig, and we're going to see.
You've been doing YouTube longer than any of us, and that's your first time presenting.
It's about confidence, mate. I'll be honest. It's about having confidence and trying to be a host. I'm not like you, McCall, or Steve, but it's just about having confidence. Like Man United, you get the confidence, you'll get your stuff.
You've been doing these videos long enough with me, Steve, McCall, or Joe to know that anyone can do it. Hey, we must have shown you that over the years.
My cockapoo dog could do it.
Exactly. If we can present, anyone can. Scotty, what are you up to?
When?
Future, anything you want to plug? I'll tell you what you can plug. Our Patreon.
Oh, yeah,
We've got extra
yeah.
content coming up there. I've just put a link in the description. It's £2 a month. I know times are hard, but, you know, it's we think it's good value. There's extra articles, extra videos. There's going to be a video coming up on there later on this week. So go and check the link out. I've put in the chat. A big shout out as well to producer Ethan for helping us out. There'll be me, Scotty, and James Young on our Patreon video coming up later on this week. So make sure to check that out. And a big thanks again to
Nice
Andy Tate
one,
for
Andy.
joining us. Thanks to you guys for watching.